Record, go, and start.
From Erie's Own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
This is City Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, and I'm here solo today. And I don't know how it's going to go, but being the Christmas weekend, if it's going real slow, we're going to cut the show a little early today and give Mike a break. But if there's anything you want to talk about, we'll leave the mic open for a while. We'll just kind of play it by ear, but we weren't quite sure if we're going to have one next week. We probably will have a show. It'll be dependent upon when the inaugurations are over, but that should be no problem. Being the holiday weekend, nobody wasn't quite sure how this was going to go, but we'll give it a try. It's been an interesting week. Hope everybody had a good Christmas holiday, and looking forward to New Year's. And if you're like most of us, some of our friends and family have gone home already, and some will be going home in the next couple of days. So please be careful out there. The weather today is supposed to be maybe a little crazy, but tomorrow looks pretty good. Outside of that, don't have really much to talk about. As we move into the new year, we'll have a new council person, and we'll be looking forward to her. Maybe we'll have her on the show. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz.
Hey.
Happy New Year to you.
Hey, good. You got to turn on your TV a little bit, okay?
I just did.
Hey, good. How you been?
Huh?
But this is kind of well, I won't say why, but this is kind of anticlimactic for you.
Oh, it is. It's when I begin my long winter rest.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's the holidays are a weird time. It's loaded. I can see where people get a little bit crazy. I mean, there's tremendous highs, and then all of a sudden there's tremendous lows.
Right.
And like everybody's gets they're all revved up, and then all of a sudden it's bam, it's done, and it's like everybody's going back. And
It is. I tried to get a hold of you over the week, during Christmas season here, but couldn't even leave a message. Your answer machine wasn't even working.
which one, on the cell phone?
Oh, your landline.
Oh, that should have worked.
I couldn't get through to leave a message even. I wanted to see if your kids were coming or if you went to see your kids.
Well, two-thirds of them came in. That's a pretty good year.
I saw over 2,800 kids this Christmas.
Don't tell why, though, because you'll give away your.
Oh, that's all right. There's a lot of people know who I am.
Well, I know, but maybe there's kids watching. You never know. But yeah, that's. How many did you see your kids or?
Oh yeah, we went down to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, see, that's usually they come up, and if I can get two of them at one time, that's pretty good. Next year it might only be one because they got to split time with their other in-laws, and so you never know what's going to happen.
Right. How much interaction does City Council have with the downtown partnership?
Probably not as much as we should. I mean, we do meet with them. If you talk about Mr. Buckner?
Well, not just that, but the whole Perry Square, State Street, going down towards the public dock almost, because I was thinking, they center in on Perry Square mostly with the event, but I'm wondering if the other, places like Scully's and all those down State Street are invited to be participants in the program too for Erie Delights.
I would probably, usually the mayor takes, his department handles, that he works with, downtown. And I think that, because they put so much money in the park, and the park it's always been that way going back many years,
right,
that the park is kind of like it is in most cities. If there's a downtown park, a square, or something like that, they usually have it there. But I think you're thinking more of the lines like when we used to have the New Year's celebration.
Right, yeah, the Erie, Light Up Erie.
And maybe that's something that, I can bring up. I'm not the liaison, we have a liaison of council to Mr. Buckner in downtown, the downtown district.
Well, what I'm thinking is, they tell me I saw over 800 at the Boston store, 800 little ones. So that means that better have been quite a few moms and dads down there. There's over 1,000, people down there.
Yeah. Maybe that's something we can bring that up with. I'll bring it up to Mr. Buckner when he meets with us. He meets with council regularly, but we do have a liaison. And
well, see, I'm wondering, how do you go about getting the rest of the downtown people on State Street there? Unfortunately, you can't go up State Street too much because they're mostly businesses or stores that don't have anything to offer.
Yeah, well, that's one of those things that because they formed that downtown improvement district, they have their own board. And I would hope that some of the merchants that are involved in that would try to maybe, expand that a little bit if they thought they could do it.
Well, I would hope so.
Yes.
I picture some of those places down that way would be more adventuresome too.
Yeah, because I don't know if people understand the downtown district is a separate organization that they tax themselves, actually. We collect the money for them, and then we give it back to them. It's like an extra levy, and that's where they hired, they hired some of these sweepers you see downtown.
Right.
And, yeah, that's all, so the merchants actually do have a voice in it, but I'll kind of bring it up to a couple of merchants I know that I'm pretty good friends with.
Well, I'm just thinking for next year,
Well, it is a nice idea.
That would be an idea to project in. I know John wouldn't mind seeing some more interaction and so forth.
Well, like I had my family up here, and we ate downtown one night. We probably would have ate a couple nights, but the Puffer Belly's closed.
Yeah.
But that might be a nice deal where they could work out, some discounts, some come downtown or something like that. Just like the mall does their promotions.
Sales.
Well, you and I remember when they used to do that years ago. Remember when we were young men at the Parking Authority?
Right, I remember those days.
And they always had the promotions for, of course, in those days, the Festival of Trees, Breakfast with Santa, all those programs were downtown, and all the stores would, they would all participate in that.
Well, we just don't, didn't have that interest like you used to.
Well, we lost our retail stores, a lot of them, but you got a lot of restaurants that could participate, or
Yeah, well, I'm going to see if I can work a little bit more of an angle on it with John on it.
And I'll bring it up when he comes to visit council, or I'll just set up I'll go over and talk to him. Maybe you and I can go over and talk to him.
Well, we could.
I've always wanted to meet with him, just to ask him.
John?
Yeah, just to see. You mean Mr. Buckner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see. He's come in and told us of a lot of his plans, but I'd like to talk to him about some of the future plans they have too.
All right. Well, maybe you and I can go over because John and I talk fairly often.
Yeah.
So I try to, I'm a member of that group. Oddly enough.
Yeah. Well, it's a good group because it gives the merchants a chance to. The members of that downtown group to express their own opinion and kind of tell the city, like, if you've seen a lot of the stuff they do down there is driven by them, the improvements and all that.
Well, if you notice in the articles that were in the paper afterwards, the letters to the editor, I heard a bunch of them that indicated they wished more things were going on after the arrival of the mayor of Santa. Seems like after Santa leaves to go up to the Boston store, things seem to suddenly die down in the square, and they wish there were more other events going on down there.
How do they bring in Santa now?
Pardon?
How do they bring Santa in now?
They still bring him in on a trolley.
Oh, okay, because years ago they used to bring the fire truck and he climbed up to the roof of Kresge's or Murphy's.
Okay, well...
I remember that years ago, but...
I think there's some liability or possible liability there, but they don't even, like I think you indicated last
Yeah, it was kind of like a big deal, but I remember all downtown would be, kids would line the streets, and it was huge back then. Of course, downtown then was the retail center of the area,
So, well, I'm just thinking what we could do to try to get the downtown business, because you got a lot of them down here that's new for downtown too, and that would be great to see if we can get them involved. The other thing is there's a few down there. I think the management isn't of the Christian faith, so whether they celebrate the holiday or not, I don't know.
Yeah, there's some other things I'd like to see downtown that, I want to talk with maybe Casey Wells on that, or Mr. Buckner, about things we can do to bring people downtown, If you bring people downtown, things will happen, other things will happen, hopefully positive.
You know what? They don't tend to open up the ice rink in the Civic down there for public ice skating, do they?
Well, I don't think the problem they have is, they probably can't because your Otters need practice time, and then if there's a basketball game, they have to put the floor down. So, you can't count on at this time of year with basketball and hockey.
That's hard to tell.
Yeah, and concerts, and like you had TSO in here, you just can't, carving out ice time would be hard to guarantee, which brings up the point of a lot of towns like Pittsburgh, Chicago, and other lesser cities have put up like ice rinks in their park, or,
Right, like Northeast does that.
Yeah, temporary. Years ago we used to flood some of the parks out in the outlying areas, like Burton Park would have an ice rink, and so we need something either down in the new GAF property or maybe in front of the Civic Center.
Well, the thing is, like, okay, if you tried that for this event this year, it was too warm. Could never do an ice skate.
Yeah, but that's the problem. You can never guarantee anything, but
that's why I'm thinking the interior, like the Civic Arena there and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's too tough with them. They can't guarantee the ice time,
Right.
I mean, it's tough. When you look around Erie, they're actually complaining that since the one ice rink closed down out on McClelland,
right,
and now I think they're going to build another one, I believe, up in Summit. There's not enough ice time for the youth programs,
That's correct, because the youth would go out there quite often.
And the figure skaters had trouble. Some of them had to go up to Jamestown for years.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it is a problem. You would think Erie had a lot of ice rinks, but it doesn't.
No, we don't have enough. That's for sure. But anyway, I did want to call you and wish you a happy New Year, you and your family, a healthy one too.
What?
And of course, all the others that involved in the city administration there. That I appreciate all the effort they put into trying to keep the city structured and organized for the year.
But just remember, the police and fire still work Christmas, so.
Yeah, they do.
Yep, and
They dedicate their time for that, and I appreciate that.
and luckily our plow guys didn't have to be out much yet this year,
No, but that hopefully it's a savings for the city, cost-wise.
Oh, it is, but you're thinking, when's the other shoe going to hit us,
Well, they say it's possibly this weekend coming up.
Yeah, well, I hope everybody gets home safe before that happens,
Yeah. Well, anyway, I just called to find out if there's any possibility of city council has to be involved in any more additional structure to the event.
No, I don't think we're directly involved because, pretty much the mayor, the administration hires that, and they work in conjunction with the downtown improvement district. But council can make, some, recommendations. And the only time we would be involved is if something had to be closed down or something,
Right.
But, we can always add our input, but that's the nice thing about when they formed that improvement district. You have a forum now where, they have an organization you can talk to. So, yeah, you and I can talk to them and, bring up some of your ideas and see what happens.
Phone number, your cell phone anymore, so the number, I have to get it somehow from, if you want, give it to Lucy and I'll call Lucy for it.
Call me, I'll give it to you. I'll call you and give you my number, okay?
All right. The other thing too,
But, hey, thanks for calling.
All right, you take care, Kaz. God bless you and your family.
And thanks for the suggestions. I'll, pass them along, and you and I both can pass them along when we see them.
Hey, give me a call so I get your number.
Okay.
Bye.
That's why I like new ideas, and I think there's nothing that says we can't do it. We used to do it for New Year's, actually. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz. See, there was another incident you seen in the newspaper today, the West Ridge Road, Asbury. There was a man who got into an accident and left the scene.
Yeah,
the girl was killed.
Yeah, there was a lot of them, weren't there?
Well, this is the one that's... this is just no ordinary accident, Kaz.
Mm-hmm.
The guy went home. Supposedly his wife called the police, say, I don't know if he went home to sober up. If he was DUIing or what the story is. But a girl's dead. And again, I got a list here of how many times the police, the media are not releasing names of people who are getting into accidents. Nobody's telling who did it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know if they can't do it, or it should be public record once they're charged.
Kaz, I called you about this before. Mm-hmm. Here's the 2 garbage trucks. Okay, now one I read in the newspaper, I guess that the one has been, the guy was cleared. Where the guy was killed on the back of the truck.
Right.
Okay, so that was in the newspaper. They said they're not releasing the name of the driver.
Pending, I think, pending disposition of what happens to him. But once he's, I believe once he's, if he's fired, I think that'll become public record. I can find out for that,
What I've seen in the newspaper looks like that's going to happen to him.
Yeah, because the other case I think was being investigated. They haven't even told council yet what the results of that was, the one that tipped. Although we had a young man, if you watched the last meeting, he came up here and addressed council about, some issues they had where he was questioning the insurance, his insurance and all that. But I think I'm going to have to find out and see what the heck's going on, because I think, if I remember right, I thought somebody filed a Freedom of Information Act. I'll have to check with that person.
Okay. Well, yeah, we need. That's why I'm surprised that the newspaper just doesn't want to get involved, or any of the local TV stations don't want to get involved.
Well, usually if charges are filed, that's public record, and if you're terminated, that's usually public record. I always thought,
I would think.
Like disciplinary action usually is not. That's in-house. That's covered by negotiations with the unions. So they usually don't tell that. But like when I was on the school board, if we terminated someone, that was on the minutes of the meeting usually.
Yeah.
And I have to check in there because, like, I'm relatively new to some of these laws in the city, even though as a councilman. But I will check on it for you about the result of those 2 accidents. But if you watch the last council meeting, a gentleman did come up to us that was involved in one.
Yeah, that's what I called you last week about that, because I asked you if you seen, when he came up and, he discussed what was going on with that, which...
Yeah, I did question the department upstairs, and some of it is, the trouble why we can't talk about it is because it's an ongoing, when somebody challenges the city, let's say, or questions it, those things are kept quiet until they're negotiated. Because it involves his accident, involves how he feels he was treated, so you can't release that data to until it's it's made a decision, and sometimes these things take a little while.
Okay.
Like we had a police officer years ago that got banged up pretty bad, and it took a good 2 to 3 years to solve it. Because they had to go through all the various proceedings with the people involved with the state. And but I don't think anybody's hiding it. I'll find out what I can legally release to you, and I'll do that. Okay.
Okay. There's a couple other incidents too that I want to mention too that no information has come out on.
Yeah, I'm amazed at the media because like today there was an accident involving someone, and they released his name right away. If you're watching the news today, and other times they don't. And it's like in the old days, it seemed like they were always releasing names. If you were somebody of stature in the community, they had your name out there.
Okay. Well, like I said, I want to mention some other incidents too where nobody says saying nothing.
Yeah, go ahead. You got your. You want to talk about them a little bit?
Yeah, I just want to mention them. I'll put it out there.
Yeah.
If anybody knows anything, or if you can find out about them. Still, that vehicle on the side is the shooting incident, the stadium after the Save and I game.
See, I didn't even know about that.
Okay, remember the vehicle on the side where there was a vehicle found laying on its side? It was like a SUV.
Right.
On its side. And supposedly involved in the shooting. I mean, that's just like a traffic accident. You could report that person who was driving that vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't see why they never did that. If he was under investigation for the shooting or what the reason was for that.
I'm going to ask one of my reporter friends too if if there's some reason why they're not doing them lately. If there's some new court ruling or something, The trouble is, like, the Freedom of Information Act is changing every year, and the rules are being applied different, and it's crazy. But the government keeps saying they want more transparency, but the way you're talking, it's not very transparent.
Right, here's another incident. Remember the kids with the gun in the truck? I guess the man left a gun in his vehicle. There was some kids playing with it, and it went off. Injured one of the kids.
Yeah, I think I do remember that.
And that was several months ago. Never heard anything about that. Any charges filed? Nothing.
It's really amazing. It's easy for the public to forget, but the media used to be on these things like mad. Like they had like a calendar. I can remember when I had my troubles with the ex-mayor. It seemed like they were in my office every week or every day, like counting down the calendars, the things that were done. It doesn't seem like they're doing that anymore. I don't know why.
Yeah. And there was one I think it was over the weekend, going to the house on 18th and Liberty.
What happened to that one?
See that on the news?
I was pretty busy this week, and 18th and Liberty, what happened there?
He ran right in, he was DUI and he ran right into a house.
Wow.
18th and Liberty.
Oh my God.
That did or did not make that.
That's not, there's a lot of that.
There was no information put on that. I seen the guy, I think Channel 35 had the video of they're taking the guy away in handcuffs.
Yeah, years ago, those were like...
Any name put out there, or...
Whatever happened to local media covering local media?
I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. This guy brings up good points. Years ago, you'd pick up the paper and it'd be G employee ran through house, or some sensation, right? You don't read anything,
We hear more about stuff going on in different states than we hear in our own town.
Yep. And now, Kaz, it's just this incident right now. Where this guy fled the scene of an accident. They were talking about it on Jimmy Wakorchik's radio show this morning. How can you leave the scene of an accident and not be charged with anything?
Well, yeah, you used to. That doesn't make sense, because the rule was if you're drunk and you leave, and I'm not sure about leaving the scene, but if you refuse a breathalyzer, you're drunk technically.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. You've heard that too, sir?
Oh yeah.
So refusal means that you're admitting guilt in some way. So leaving the scene, man, they can't prove you're drinking, but I mean,
it should count. It should count against you the same way. It should be automatic.
It should be a charge of some type.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, I mean, his vehicle is, probably undrivable. I guess he ran home. The guy's wife called, and, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe this was several hours later. He sobered up, maybe he had a few drinks, he was right on the edge. Went home and had something to eat and sobered up and
Then felt remorse.
reported to the police, and, they give him a DUI test, so I'm not drunk now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
There's so many loopholes.
Yeah, I got to find out about leaving the scene should be a charge. I mean, I was always told if you hurt someone, you leave the scene. As a citizen, you have to render, even if you're not involved in the accident.
Right.
You have to stop your car.
Yeah.
If you see something,
Make sure everything's okay.
I mean, you don't have to render aid because nowadays they're saying if you don't know what you're doing, you could hurt someone.
Yeah.
But at the very least, you call the police or something,
Exactly,
or you stay there until somebody comes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the media is getting soft around here. That's what it seems to be.
I mean, I don't know if that's because of the cutbacks, and I mean, you watch a lot of these young kids now. They're carrying their own camera, and they probably don't. The budgets aren't big, but geez, in the old days it was like we used to joke about WJT radio had the thing of call a news tip in, you get a free radio. Yeah.
Wow.
And the joke was they were calling Jet before they called the police and fire.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow.
But thank you for your comments, and I'll try to look into them for you.
Before I go, ask DJ any update on the clown show. Did you look into?
Yeah, he did.
I can't find it. They seem to have disappeared.
Really?
Yeah, we've done a lot of cleaning house. We've lost some staff members, and as staff members leave, just more and more stuff has to go, and I can't find him right now.
He did bring it up. I will verify it at the last board meeting.
I thought I ran him off on a DVD, but I can't find any of my own stuff right now because everything's everything's in a shambles for me.
Yeah, when their funding was cut, it was like they don't have nobody knows what happened to a lot of that stuff. But I can tell you, DJ did bring it up, and there was a lot of interest, and he was looking hard for it.
I'm still looking. I got boxes I got to go through. I just haven't had time. I've been overwhelmed. But if I can find it, I will.
Yeah, for those that don't know, it's a two-man show down there.
It's right now. It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're doing the best they can, and
that's why I'm late. I did my best to get in here.
And I want to thank DJ for coming. He really, But I want to see that clown show too. That was like some of the best entertainment I ever saw.
I will try.
DJ, you could probably just do maybe a bi-weekly show, just news of the weird that happens around Erie in the area.
I could handle that. I could probably host that, considering I'm always in here either wearing a weird hat or just acting funny. So I could probably do that. News of the Erie weird or weary or some weird word we'll make. We'll see.
You could do your own investigating, and maybe you could,
You know how they used to have Behind the Kitchen Door, like it was on Channel 12?
They don't do that no more?
I haven't seen it in a long time. I always wanted to do Behind the Bathroom Door. Like, if you go into a restaurant and their bathroom looks like crud, why would you want to eat there,
Oh, my God.
I always wanted to do something like that, but I figured I'd just get thrown out of a bunch of places.
Make sure the stalls are empty before you go in there.
I know. Oh, that'd be terrible. We'll see.
The guys from the Erie Reader, they do some investigative reporting.
I have a feeling. Do you remember the old Erie Press?
Oh no, that's before my time.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you're. I don't know how old you are. I'm not going to ask you, but I thought you were kind of my age, or.
Mid-60s, I was born.
Well, you should remember the Erie Press.
No, I don't, sir.
Were you in Erie?
Well, when the Times was split, I remember that. I remember the morning news.
Right.
And then the final edition Erie Daily Times.
I'm trying to think. This thing came out like either when I was in high school in the 60s or college, but it was only a once a week. It was hard to get. It wasn't very, widely published. But it was a bunch of newspaper guys that were like X-Times employees, and I'm trying to think if like the late Bob Cannon was involved or somebody like that, but they would write up the bizarre stories that the Times would wouldn't do it. They were like a once a week.
Wow.
And Erie Press, I have to see if anybody's got a copy of that, it's laying around. But it was an interesting paper because it would say, seen the other day, city workers blacktop in a local business's driveway.
Yeah.
And it was like a bar.
Uh-oh.
So the truck be packing, it was quite embarrassing, but...
Yeah. Okay, hey, I'll let somebody else get on, but good talk.
Hey, have a nice holiday,
Hey,
what's
thanks
left
for
of
calling.
it.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Hope everybody had a good Christmas. Thank you.
Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, all that.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Hey, thanks for coming.
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, that old paper I was talking about, that was a wild paper. That was like... They would do everything, kind of like the Reader, but the Reader's more tame compared to
There's
this.
an online thing I'll talk about after this call.
Oh, I think I know what it is. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz, the last two callers took up half your show. Anyway,
You know what? I got to apologize. I didn't know if the show was going to go good on Christmas, so that's my fault.
hey, listen, I got a couple things I want to tell you. That guy he's talking about that DUI that he left the scene.
Yeah.
The leaving the scene of an accident is lesser than getting caught DUI. That's what that's all about.
But they still should get charged, right?
Well, they get charged, but everything's less than if you get caught with DUI.
Man, maybe they should change that law because you're obviously hiding something.
Yeah.
And that it was in the paper about a week ago. That guy who drove that garbage truck, he was cleared. They checked him for drugs and alcohol, and it was just an accident. His name was in the paper.
Oh, it was?
Oh yeah, it was about 3 or 4 days ago, maybe a week. Oh yeah.
It was after our council meeting. I'm going to have to ask. I'll find out what his name was.
Yeah, I think he was 22 years old, the driver.
They cleared him.
Yeah, he had a hearing problem too, they said. And that could have contributed to...
Did the paper say, like, when the truck tipped, it was just an accident, but there was not... How did it happen?
They ruled it an accident. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Hey, what I'm calling about is it mandatory or is it a law to recycle your garbage?
I think it is. I'd have to ask... the person that would know would be Sarah Galloway, but I believe it is.
Well, here's the reason I'm saying. I got a guy who lives down the block from me, and he has a business out in Mill Creek. And about 3 times a month, he'll bring in about 5, 6, 7, 8 great big industrial garbage bags.
Right.
Full of pop cans and beer cans and paper products. And he brings them in like 2 days before the pickup. And in the summertime, a raccoon or a skunk or a cat will tear them open.
So he's bringing it in from Mill Creek.
He comes in from Mill Creek.
Why would he do that? They got better... I've been told they got better pickup than we do.
Well, maybe he don't belong. Maybe it's because he has a commercial business. Maybe they don't pick him up. Maybe for some reason.
Well, yeah, see, in the city, we don't pick up commercial either, but a house, that's a different...
Yeah. Well, so anyway, the reason I know it's pop and cans is it blows all over the street. There's cans, and then he goes out and picks it up, and half the stuff blows down the block. Anyway, I called Public Works, and I talked to some lady, and I asked her. I says, is that legal for him to do that? She says, well, as long as he pays taxes, he can bring his garbage into the city.
I don't think that's the intent we had, but...
I said, okay, that's fine, let's do that. But shouldn't he recycle like I do? Like I wrap my papers and I wash my cans out?
Yeah.
And she says, no. We ask people to do it, but it's still law. You don't have to recycle.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to...
That's what she told me.
I'm going to ask Sarah Galloway, and I'll check with about recycling law or not. And if you could, call me off the air, because I don't want to get you involved.
Yeah, what number should I call you?
If you get I'm in the phone book under 825
Okay.
7601.
7601. Okay, I'll call you off the air.
Yeah, and then give me the address of that house if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Because
I want to do it on the air.
Because there's a couple other ones that I've seen they bring that in. I don't think that's the intent of when we pick up garbage. It's supposed to be for that house, not bringing it in. It's certainly not the intent that we had.
Well, that's why I question it. One time he brought a van in here, and he left that 10 bags, huge bags.
Yeah.
them up in front of his lawn, and the guys, the garbage people pick them up. So they don't know what's in there, you know.
No, I mean, that's the trouble. And
Yeah. But, okay, the last thing I want to tell you, that show, I caught your tape. It was a very good show with those school truckers out there and everything.
right.
That was very good. It was informative, real good. Those are the kind of shows you should have on with people like that.
Well, you know, I try to, DJ will tell you, I've tried to reach out, and I've offered it to Chris Rogers from the airport. I've offered it to other people, Mr. Buckner from DI, you know, we talked to him. Everyone, I've had a guy on from the Human Relations Commission who wants to come on again.
Yeah.
And I put it out there for anybody that wants to come on, like, that has an organization that, you know, we've had like the Vietnam Memorial on here, and
Yeah. Well, you know, another thing, I'll let you call and hang up then. That guy you have on there, that Sumka guy, whoever he is.
yeah,
That guy, I don't know why you have him on there. He's so negative. And anything you talk about, it's always negative, negative, negative. I don't know why he's even on there. He's not any kind of city official or any kind anything, you know.
well, either it's DJ, but DJ's positive, and I'll talk to him. But I've told him a couple of times that he showed up, and you know, like I said, you know,
Make some good comments, but this other guy, the scum. I hate to say this, but he's dumb as a rock. That guy, I'm telling you. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Okay, I'll tell you off the air, Kaz.
okay, yeah. As far as yeah, get back to me about that, and we'll kind of figure out. But if you know anybody you want to come on the air, you know, anybody from an organization, you know, give me their name or tell them to call me, and you know, I'll be glad to put them on.
Jim Thompson always had county people from the county, all kinds of different people on there. You know, interesting. You know, they talk about. Like you had the Fish Commission people on a couple months ago.
Well, I actually saw Eddie Kissel the other day at the.
Yeah, he's a good guy to have on there.
Yeah.
So he could talk. I mean, good, interesting thing.
Yeah, what he told me, I saw him at the airport, and I said he goes, he's all around town, you know, with his comments. I said, you know, I could use you on the air sometime. And he said, well, I don't really have anything to talk about. He said, I'll wait till I got some. I said, well, you know, come on sometime. Just, you know, bring us up to date on some of your projects. And
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get off with somebody else get on.
Okay, have a good holiday.
Okay, you too.
I am pretty much as dumb as a box of rocks. I don't have a lot to say. I'm not world traveled, but I'm here to help you out.
We did have your expertise needed last week.
Oh, yeah?
We had a couple calls about getting the show on cable again.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
You don't have to answer my question. I'll just make a couple comments.
Okay.
All my garbage goes in the same truck. I recycle everything. A bundle of papers, cans and glass and clear bags, and put my garbage in a brown bag. They all go in the same truck.
So you don't get picked up twice in the night?
Oh, no. I live on East Avenue.
Whereabouts?
My garbage is Thursday nights,
Yeah, same as mine. Where do you live on East Avenue?
3400 block.
You know, what's strange is, I get two pickups, and I live on, you know where Stanley is, right?
Where you live?
Yeah, so I get one truck that comes through, and then depending on how the timing is, I get another truck either real close or about an hour or so later.
Well, I usually watch the football games on Thursday night.
Yeah.
With the trucks coming, I'll go to the window, look out. Everything goes in the same truck.
Wow. See, now I've seen mine actually split.
I swear to God, everything goes in the same.
Now, unless I was told that there's one truck or two trucks they have that are what they call double bin.
This guy just threw them in the truck.
Okay, I'm going to check on that because when I brought up last time, they said they have a couple double bin trucks, but I can tell you on my street, and this is what's strange. I mean, they do come twice from me, and I don't know why. You're only a couple blocks away. Why they wouldn't come twice for you? You know.
Okay, well, why don't they put in the paper or announce on TV what these shows bring in? Like Kenny Rogers supposed to have been a sellout crowd.
That's up to the Civic Center Authority, and I don't. You know, here I went to TSO recently, and they had 2 shows. That's Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah, they're good.
Hey, I thought they were, did pretty good, and I was told by someone that it really didn't do that well, and I'm going, it's hard to believe because, A, we don't know how they set up the show. They didn't have the whole arena being used. But, yeah, I agree with you. Like, they put the gambling stuff in there. Maybe one of the reporters should go to the Civic Center and say, I don't think it's a big secret. It shouldn't be. Whether they made money in the show or not.
My other comment is that the show that was on last week with this program you're starting up with the schools,
right?
It's going to cost the taxpayers. Hey, I'm 83 years old and I'm still paying school taxes.
Well, I think what they're trying to do is resurrect the old night school program, which they always had.
No, they have to pay tuition for that?
Yeah, he said, there was going to be a thing that, if I remember how he was saying it, was there would be a small fee, but if you were laid off, let's say, like the people at GE,
the freebie.
They would be eligible for some kind of reimbursement from the Commonwealth.
There's no raise in Social Security. My wife even got a reduction in her Social Security.
She got a reduction?
She did, $1.49.
Why was that?
I have no idea. The premiums probably went up.
Oh, you mean on Medicare?
Yep.
Yeah, see, I haven't done Medicare yet, but I'm getting scared. But, yeah, Social Security is one of those things that I haven't taken mine yet. I'm kind of holding back, but...
No raise this year at all.
No, my mother, she told me that, and I...
Under the price of gasoline going down. How can they justify the price of gasoline going down on everybody's income? Groceries has gone up, utilities gone up, taxes are going up, gasoline comes down, so you don't get no raise.
Yeah, I don't know the formula they use, but they claim they got a formula that only puts certain things into it, into the calculation of it. So I thought, like gas was one of those things. I thought groceries was.
That's what all was in the paper, was the price of gasoline. That's all it was in the paper.
It shouldn't be that alone, because everything else is still going up.
Well, that's what the newspaper and TV said. The price of gasoline is going way down, so no raise. But the politicians get a raise, I bet you.
Yeah, that's the bad part. So it's like that fiasco we have in Harrisburg, They're still getting paid by some exotic fund.
Okay, I'll let you go because everybody else was too long at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, well, you know what? I didn't think we were going to get phone calls, but I'm happy you called.
Okay, have a happy New Year.
You too.
That's what I'm here for, to inspire phone calls.
Well, I was a little worried that there was going to be a dead show.
There you go.
Go ahead, caller.
Sitting back here listening and enjoying all this.
Who, you?
Yes, hearing all these different people with all their complaints and trying to figure things out. And I do want to defend that city employee. I don't think she would state because the guy's paying his taxes, he could bring his garbage into town and have it all the way.
I surely hope not, because that gentleman's not wrong, because I know a couple other places I've got complaints on where people come in from out of town. Ohio is one location, load their garbage, in the front of the house, and that's not the intent the city had. The intent is the garbage you what do you call it? The garbage you entail in your living in that house.
Right.
Yeah, whatever you generate here.
Yeah, because you know what?
Right, you put away. You go by and see all these people with so many bags and say, holy cow.
Yeah.
It's just like when it's spring cleanup. Everybody comes in and puts all this stuff out, and there's specific items, even during the regular pickups, no wooden things like that, and these people go ahead and do it.
Yep.
And on the east side, they leave it, but on the west side, they pick it up.
It sure seems that way sometimes, doesn't it?
It sure does. I have a question. I see the COG is moving down to the Maritime Museum.
Well, what happened was they're paying rent at the Renaissance building right now.
Yeah.
And
and they're paying taxes.
The Renaissance is, yes.
Yes.
Well, the Renaissance, they're not, that's part of the building.
Right.
Where they're moving to now is the county presently, for some reason, has moved some offices out of there.
Moving to the third or second floor of the Maritime Museum because that parking spaces got given to them or they swapped them.
Right, but I mean, what happened was they moved they moved some department. I don't know what they had down there. They moved it out of the library, the museum. There was a county offices that they moved to another location. So they opened that up to, other organizations. So the COG is moving in there. I'm not sure if they pay taxes or not. I would probably doubt it.
But they opened it up because they got the extra parking spots.
Well, yeah, that and the fact that it was empty up there because they transferred something out.
Well, sure, you want to get somebody in there that will take care of it, but the whole thing here, I think that it should generate tax dollars.
Well, if you remember the Intermodal Center, part of it pays taxes, part of it doesn't.
True.
And I don't know. I don't know if that's the same thing with obviously the Maritime Museum. I don't know how they're going to treat this section. The ones. And I don't know who's going in there besides COG.
I understand it's just COG.
But the tax laws are confusing because you have the hotels that don't pay tax, right?
Yeah.
And then you have other public buildings that have attachments that do pay taxes.
Well, it's confusing because the hotels we have are with the Convention Authority,
right,
and they're getting a free ride.
But I think there's other places where the government... prime example is you take the Intermodal Center, right?
Yeah.
That was built by the Port Authority, but it's not all tax exempt.
Oh.
The portion that...
They're renting out, it's taxable because they're bringing in income.
Yeah, the congressman may be tax exempt, but when you had Hammett down there and a couple other things...
You were paying taxes.
Yeah, and then the bus company pays taxes, the Greyhound.
That's true.
But not EMTA, I think,
But catch how much revenue that the bed tax is going to generate this year?
What was it, 70?
It was way up there.
I thought it was 70 million I read. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
That is a crime.
Well, yeah, but...
that money should be going other than the convention center, just like the gaming baloney. Restricted and unrestricted monies.
I'll tell you what's going to happen in my mind, and I'm going to get yelled at by, people because they think I'm being... But the next time they come to city council for something, some kind of, what do you call it? They want to borrow something, trade something. You know what I'm talking about, John?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to say, how about we make a deal on that bed tax and you give us a portion of it, or you give us something,
True.
I mean, here's a prime example. Bethlehem and Allentown they had two companies bidding on the casino in that town. Now, one was going to win and one was going to lose. So they cut their own deal.
Well, sure.
And they're not, I don't believe they're contiguous, but I'm not positive. But here, because we don't touch Summit, physically, at our borders, we don't get a dime of that gambling money. We're the biggest community. We got the most needs, the problems. Yeah. We supply a lot of things which the outlying area loves, the colleges, the hospitals,
right.
We're all tax exempt, and we get not a dime, correct, John?
That's right.
And so I'm going to start asking. Maybe it's illegal, maybe, I don't know, but let them tell me that.
Well,
I'm going to say...
ask questions after the horse is out of the barn.
Well, I wasn't on council, but...
No.
But here, we got two hotels now. And, we have three with the Avalon. We'll have Mr. Kennedy who will be paying taxes. We can't charge a room tax under state law. Because of the class city we're in. So the county gets all this money, we don't get a dime from anything. We don't get a dime from the room tax, we don't get a dime from gambling.
The money that you give the convention center down there, the big loans and everything, and start going after them, get it back.
What's that? You mean?
You give them $2 million, $3 million. You put the water down there for them and everything else. They came to council, they got the money, and they're going to give you a token amount once in a while. They feel like it.
Yep.
It's just LECOM. They give you a little couple $100,000 donation. They call it like a pilot. Well, no, they call it a donation, not a pilot. But that encompasses 5 years.
Right. Here's the thing. You we can all disagree that we think Hammond and Vincent should pay more, but at least they're giving us half.
True.
You know, at least that's an agreement we can look at and say,
Look at Gannon College.
nothing. A few things once in a while.
You know, I'll give you 5 police cars.
Yeah.
Maybe in 10 years I'll give you another one.
Well, at least this new president, Merciers, wants to bring the kids back on campus, because all that's doing is turning our neighborhoods into rental zones, you know?
That the whole east side off of 38th Street used to be a gorgeous walkway.
Yep.
Now it looks like the slums. It's going to look like Oakland did in Pittsburgh.
Right. I mean, people I remember the people in the neighborhood, they went to the local churches, they did business at the local, well, you can remember when there was a grocery store where Value Home Center was.
Yes, there was a grocery store there, there was a Loblaws there was a Paul Bunyan.
Right.
The whole shot. Now they're all leaving.
Yeah, and you know, if you want business to come in, well, you got to have steady business all year.
Well, at least down there the guy remodeled his place for the car wash, and now I see he's going to have a laundromat. I just saw a sign as I went by this afternoon, dog washing, $10.
I thought, you know, when I first saw that, I thought he was putting a convenience store in there, but he didn't. And that's okay, though, you know.
But he's going to be paying taxes.
That's all I care, you know. I look around and I said, you know, we got to get more people doing business in the city.
It's true, you know. Thursday nights isn't enough downtown. It's just a party time, like Geneva on the Lake.
Yeah.
Summertime, they're all right. They have a few shows and everything else. October 31st comes, bang, the streets roll in. Geneva's quiet till next spring.
Well, like, you know, the other day I took my grandkids. We went down to the Children's Museum.
Yeah, my wife used to volunteer down there quite when June was running it.
Yeah, that's a great place, you know.
Yes, it
is. And next door, my daughter was like shocked because she didn't know Puffer Belly closed.
Yeah, thank God for her insurance.
Yeah, and then you had that little place next door that was like a bakery or a deli.
Yeah.
That's gone, you know, and I'm going, see, we don't need that, you know. And the other night we went up to one of the other places. We tried out Cloud 9, you know. Just, you know, took a ride up there, and I like to try the different places out downtown, but we need more. You know, we need more on the east side too.
We have a number of empty buildings. What about speaking to the owners who just let their buildings sit there and rot, and having them offer these buildings up at a reduced rate for people that want to come in and have business?
One of the problems they got with a lot of them is they can't develop the upper floors.
Yeah.
True.
And you know, because you got new ADA laws and stuff, but
right.
But you know, like John says here, you know, a lot of them turn into. We need more than just taverns. You know, we need some.
Well, Happy New Year to you guys. I'm going to watch Pitt play Navy now. I'm going to watch the Navy win. So.
How about a wild weekend yesterday, huh?
It was a wild weekend, and you know, I think we need younger officials in there.
Well, you know, I'm not complaining. Cleveland probably would have lost that game anyway, but when a guy can't place a ball down, you know.
Well, that's true there.
I mean, you're right, John. These guys they're, you know, the game is sped up, and it looks like some of them can't keep up with it.
Yeah, and I think that recalling or checking plays all the time, that's taking a deterrent from the game. It's just like basketball. How the hell can you call timeout when you're in the air floating with the ball? You yell timeout.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break. Anyways, Happy New Year to you people.
You too.
So who are you rooting for, John? Pitt or Navy?
I like them both. I always like the Navy, and I want to keep their streak going.
Oh, there you go. You know what?
Army.
Well, you know what? Hey, Army gave a hell of a game this year.
They sure. Well, they gave a hell of a game the last couple of years.
That's on my bucket list. I want to see. That's probably the greatest college game, I think. You know, don't look at the quality of football, but look at the integrity of the people playing it.
Yeah, Air Force is a good one too.
Yeah, I mean, those kids play for. A lot of them are going to be never going to play another game.
And you know what I enjoy watching? coaching them, they don't dance and do the hula when they score a touchdown, or go crazy when they're 40 points behind and they're giving you a first down sign and everything else, and doing a dance in the end zone. If I was coach, every time somebody did something like that, they'd be warming the bench until I thought they could go back in.
I like the old days when the guys would flip the ball to the ref and walk away like they'd done it a million times.
Well, Notre Dame does that a lot. You know, your schools with class don't act like monkeys.
You know what our coach used to say? When you scored, act like you had been there before.
That's right. You don't go nuts when you're 40 points behind.
Yeah.
Have a great one.
You too, John. You want to...
No, I got nothing because...
Well, thanks for coming, though. But, yeah, we had a lot of calls. I told somebody to call in again when you were here.
Yeah.
They were going to... They had a problem... I thought they had a cable ready TV, so they should be able to get the show.
Right.
Go ahead, caller. You might be the last one.
Hi, Kaz. I just wanted to wish you guys a Happy New Year, and you and DJ, you guys are doing a fantastic job, and looking forward for 2016.
Well, DJ, I always invite him down here. Sometimes he's busy. He's like a one-man show down there some days.
I try to be a little better than a box of rocks, though.
No, you're definitely top shelf, both of you. And
Thank you.
Keep up the good work, and Happy New Year.
You too.
Yeah, you too, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yep, we are out of time.
So
it's running down. The clock's running down. What are you going to do?
New Year's? Nothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of. I told everybody it's kind of anticlimactic. You know, your kids come up here, visit you, and then they go home. It's like you're up here, and then you're.
I've seen it. I mean, I've seen
Holidays
it all. I'm not going to do nothing on TV. I'm not going to watch the ball drop. I don't care. I've seen it enough.
What used to be like the shows had Christmas shows. They don't anymore. Like you know, you're watching your favorite TV shows. You know.
Yeah, I just watched a Christmas special called A Very Murray Christmas. It was Bill Murray.
Well, that'd be crazy.
It was actually kind of funny. I mean, it wasn't over the top funny. It was just low-key humor, and it was just a nice thing to wrap up the year with.
My wife, she watches a lot of the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah.
And they got those Christmas tearjerkers on there. But they always turn out right, though.
Yeah,
you know. But you know
done.
what? That you know.
I'm done with TV. I don't.
There's something out there for everybody.
I don't want to see any more drama or tearjerkers. I'm done with TV.
Really?
I work at a TV station. I don't even watch television. That's the way it should be.
Bring back the clown show. Remember?
Bring back the clown show. And on that note, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
I hope everybody had a good Christmas.
Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus. There's a big one right there. Seinfeld.
Yep, there you go. We're off.
We're out.
Hey, thank you. Who did? Let me get this off. Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.